Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we are in a town called Apopka. I always like that name. Apopka, Florida, a little suburb of Orlando. And what we're doing here is we're putting in downspout drains. All gravity, no sump pumps. So there is actually places that you can do that. And you can see how much higher I am than the street out here. It's going to be a fairly deep excavation. Let's take a look at what we're doing. So from back here on the back corner of the house, you can see there's the front. This is the back, screened-in lanai pool. We've got the downspout, and it's picking up a great deal of water. Several roofs come down all together and come down this downspout. Also, the pool channel drain, which of course is right up there against the side of the house. Bad place for channel drain, but that's where they install it, is discharging over here. So we're going to start our line here, and it's going to start, about a shovel deep enough that we can pick up both the downspout and the channel drain. We'll put a small catch basin or something there to pick that up. Line will come around the back side of the lanai, and I'm actually walking uphill. So we're digging through grade, and if you look closely, you can see it actually runs uphill as we come up about to the end of the lanai, and then it drops off dramatically. So we need to make sure our line can run downhill, or at least level, and get that water to flow away from this area. We're also going to do the front downspout. He decided not to do, there's another piece of the channel drain here. The channel drains usually drain both directions. It comes out here, but he just wants to hold on that. So we're going to do another drain from over here by the front corner of the garage. You can see how much of the upper roof comes down onto the lower roof. Put it into one downspout, which is fine. And then we're going to send that out to the sidewalk to a pop-up. One more area that we'll do is over here in the front. Same kind of thing, a lot of water from the upper roofs. And when they put so much water into an area that's trapped off by the sidewalk, you can see the sidewalk and the driveway, it's all trapped. This downspout becomes really important. And they splashed it out. You can see how much roof comes down, all the upper comes down to the lower, comes down, and of course this area is washing away all the mulch, and it just floods dramatically, no place for water to go. So we'll go ahead and put him underground. So we'll put him underground and bring it over. And so why not, we're right here. Let's hook that downspout up, put a T on it. We'll tunnel this sidewalk and send that right out to the next sidewalk, where we'll put a pop-up and let it discharge. Okay, so Joe's made pretty quick work here. He's got the sod off on one side, trench about halfway is done. Here where I'm standing, there's a rise here. It's going to be pretty deep, but it drops down dramatically quite quickly. You can see I'm over here by the sidewalk. Went ahead and got that prepped. And what I'm going to do is make a video of using the pressure washer to go underneath the sidewalk. I think it's still faster to tunnel it, but get so many comments about it, let's go ahead and find out. Okay, so I get a lot of comments about I should try to use a pressure washer. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. But real quick, I had to trench both sides. We have to have a place for water to drain. And now we're going to try the pressure washer. So far it's taken about 20 minutes to get to this point. Here we go. Okay, so the pressure washer poked a hole, as you can see. You can see that little tiny tree root, although that's huge when you're tunneling, is in the way. It won't cut that. But we've only got, a tiny hole to get through. We're still going to have to dig it out. There's just no other way. So with the shovel, in just a matter of just a couple of minutes, you can see I've removed all the roots. We have a nice huge hole going through there, a lot faster, guys. And and you're not all covered in mud from the water using your pressure washer. So the assessment of the pressure washer is that, you know, these little nozzles, they're great. It cut right through, you know, got underneath the walk in about, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there. It cannot cut a root, and it only made a hole, you know, big enough, for example, to put an irrigation pipe through there. Remember, we need a huge hole. And what's needed is to find the adapter. It's kind of like the jet truck that you see cleaning from manhole to manhole. There's nozzles here in the front, the jet in the front, and that cuts through the stoppages that are in the sewer line. And then they hydraulically pull it back, but back here in the back, there's little holes. And now the water comes out this direction, and that can clean, it can clean up to a 48-inch pipe, but we just need it to be 6 inches. So either we need to make our own, and that would be to drill pinholes around the bottom, back half of this, and then when you push it through, you can pull it back and it'll pull out all the debris, making a much wider hole. Time wise, you know, not only 10 minutes to set up the pressure washer, 10 minutes to take it down, put it all away. I don't see any difference. I think it's much faster to do it by hand, but I do see applications for it. So maybe that could answer some of the questions and comments that you guys gave me. We're just about ready to lay pipe. We've got 200 feet of 4-inch solid corrugated. We're going to unroll those, lay it down through our trench, push it underneath the walk, and here at the end we'll adapt it with a small pop-up, a grate, to allow that water to discharge. Looks like Joe's got a great trench going. He did find an irrigation line. Those are always our big fear, but oh yeah, he's well underneath of that. This line's ready to go all the way back. And then over here on this downspout, everything looks good. Chuck's already got the trench dug. We're going to use a little grate pop up there at the end of the trench. One more trench to dig. So another great tip is unrolling your 100-foot roll of perforated. You can see if one person acts like a spool and the other person pulls it, it comes right out. Probably the best way to unroll it. If you're doing it yourself, you can lay it in the trench and try to unroll it, but it's still kind of unruly. This way you get a nice clean stretch of pipe. When you get it all pulled apart, go ahead and have the two guys stretch it so it stretches tight. Beautiful. So the 100-foot roll comes with 3 strings. You got to pull those strings off. Remember, we got 200 plus feet to put in here, and again, if one person acts like a spool and the other person pulls it free, it's kind of like the linesman's truck. And the secret is to keep that spool, keep your arms between it, stay in the center, and then one person just pulls it out. You stretch it all the way out, and there goes your 100 feet. I also get a lot of comments about, you know, we should have the area marked. You know, guys, we always have the area marked. You can see it here. Here's the electric, that's in red. You can see the cable box over there. You've got the orange markings, and they run all along, you know, and through the yard. You can see them going up. But one of the things that you have to remember is that even though locators try to do their best job, let's take a look right over here and you'll see they don't always locate the cable. Here is the homeowner's cable. Can you see it? See if I can get down there. That's the homeowner's cable right there. It's not marked. There is no markings here at all. You're going over to the box, and as it comes across the yard, you can see there is absolutely no markings. But you should call and get things located. It protects yourself. If you cut the line, there's usually not any charge to have them come out and repair it. There is no gas here, which is great. One of the interesting things, Florida does have gas. A lot of people have natural gas. This house does not. The gas line is in yellow. So here by the channel drain, what we've done is we're going to put a 4-inch grate, and it's going to be at grade. We'll sink it down just a little bit. It's going to pick up that channel drain, which is right here. It just comes across the ground and empties into it. And then the downspout drain runs on out. It's taking all that water out and around through the... So we pulled that pipe underneath the walk. We came out, we put the pop-up discharge on it. We say pop-up, it's just a 4-inch grate. I don't really care for pop-ups. They get clogged up. You know, the lid doesn't open, things like that. I prefer to use a grate. Pop-ups work okay, but I think the grate works much better. And we've got it all laid, coming back through. We'll backfill this up, and this side will be done. You can see Chuck pulling that pipe over there, getting ready to do the front. There's 2 lines there that we need to do out front. So again, if you're doing it yourself, things to remember. Number 1, You're going to be starting pretty deep because this drain is at the same level as that concrete of your patio. That makes the line go deeper. If it was just a downspout drain, it could just start very shallow. Remember, we were digging through grade. In other words, the hill, your yard's actually coming up, so we have to make that go down to make it better and drain properly. So you're going to be pretty deep when you start with a catch basin at the very beginning of your line. That makes your line go deep. Keep that in mind. So if you can see it, a couple tips for backfilling. You can definitely use a shovel, but what I found is if you turn your rake upside down, push it against your trench, let your body do the work, and you just shove it right over, kind of like a bulldozer. And depending on how high your mound is, you could start right at the bottom, but would the shovel, or would it be able to push that much? You'll have to test it and find out. But saves a little bit of energy, not a lot. Then you come back, and this excess, you can quickly pull it up to where you want it. Goes pretty quick. But again, the secret is let your body do the work. You know, push with your legs and just push it. See, I can't quite push that much soil, if you can see that, but I can push it from the top and come back second pass. Here you go, Joe. So a little tip for backfilling. I always show you how to dig, but you know, really this is where all your energy goes is filling up the trench. It's easy to dig, but you're tired by this point. So you can take the rake and you turn it upside down, and then you can use your body weight to push it. So it's like a bulldozer, and you can see it just pushes it right over into the trench. Turn that rake upside down and just push it right into the trench. Then you can come back and rake up that excess. Makes life a lot easier. It should only take you 20 minutes or so total time to backfill your trench. Remember, this trench is about 140 feet long. This is a long trench, but it goes real quick. Some places you have to use the shovel. Joe had to do it back here. You can see the fence, and you can't really push. You can go off at an angle, but you know, had to use the shovel to cover it up. Either way, but I think it takes a lot more energy to use the shovel and push it, and the rake works really good. So we've got this side backfill. We'll do a little cleaning up, and we're all done. Over here, driveway side, you can see we've got the pipe installed, a little bit of soil on there to hold it in place. We'll end up here at the sidewalk where we'll put the grate. You can see the 90 and the grate over there. We'll put that together, and it'll just discharge right on top of the walk. Again, a lot of markings out here in this yard. People say we don't get them located. Of course we do. You can see power, cable, telephone. They're all around the yard. And so when you're all done, when you're finished trenching and covering up, use your blower, blow off your excess, and you're all done. You see we just blow off this section over here. So this is a great job for the do-it-yourselfer. Trying to give some special effects here. Do this job yourself, material-wise, maybe, I don't know, maybe $200–300. You pay a contractor to do it, $3,000–4,000. So definitely you can save some money if you do it yourself. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.